Jean-Claude Filloux, The Unconscious. The discovery of the unconscious goes back to Libido's theory of small perceptions of which we are not aware. Freud unveils the unconscious psychic structures. Psychoanalysis, depth psychology. The philosophy of Schopenhauer exposed in 1818 in The World as Will and as Representation. The world in its essence is will, a rational and active force. Driving force, dynamism that we feel at the root of our being. All force of nature is will, minerals, plants, animals. Primacy of the will over the intellect, knowledge, reason. Our free decisions are the manifestation of our essential will. The master is the will, the servant is the intellect. Man may ignore the true motives of his actions. The dream is the very eruption of the unconscious into the conscious. The unconscious intervenes in the process of organic life, and conscious activity is based on unconscious activity. Discoveries are the fruit of unconscious rumination. The unconscious is, according to Janet, the reverse side of consciousness which cannot synthesize the whole of psychic life. Hysteria is a disease of weakness which fixes ideas and becomes a disease of the unconscious. The unconscious appears as the fruit of a reduction in the power of the ego. Freud's own discovery is the existence of a dynamic unconscious correlative to repression. Freud had a thirst for knowledge in human relations. In 1885 he was a pupil of Charcot, then he was a doctor in Vienna, specializing in nervous diseases. The true motives of our actions are not always known. Freud searches through the evocation of memories with the association of ideas. Difficulty of the patient to state all his thoughts, and he becomes irritated. It is resistance. These memories are kept outside of consciousness. Freud says that they are repressed. The ego defends itself against the conscious appearance. A defense mechanism is revealed. The physician must remove this resistance. Psychoanalysis is the therapeutic method combining free association and the fight against resistance. In the darkness of the unconscious there is an uninterrupted attempt by the repressed to force the door of consciousness. Neurotics in analysis tend to relate their dreams, which relate to conflicts and symptoms. Dreams are messages from the unconscious, royal road that leads to knowledge of the unconscious. Dreams are the reproduction of events from the waking state. They respond to our current concerns. Double aspect of the dream. Appearance and meaning by distinguishing the manifest content and the latent content. The apparent inconsistency, the distortion of dreams is explained by their formation of compromise. Censored emergence of the unconscious into the conscious. Desires remained unfulfilled. For Freud, the dream represents the disguised realization of a repressed desire. The dream is a fulfillment of desire. In our daily gestures, the unconscious acts on missed acts, lapses, oversights, losses, missed acts, etc. The slip. Instead of a word we pronounce another. The libido is the dynamic value of the sexual drives with incestuous orientations corresponding to the Oedipus complex. Concentration on the mother of sexual desires and jealousy towards the father. The castration complex is a fear that the father will retaliate. Interpreting a dream is like reading a hieroglyph, reading the latent content under the manifest content. Latent content has more richness. Thinking by image is poor compared to conceptual thinking, bene. It is a dramatization. The image turns into drama in the content of dreams. Caution in interpretation. Freud insists on the power of unconscious activity and the causal influence it exerts on consciousness. Anxiety causes repression. The id is the set of primitive drives. Repressed elements, of a sexual or aggressive nature. In Freud there are in the unconscious of each of the elements that are found in any unconscious. For Freud, the unconscious is formed in childhood. The I is constituted in its imaginary character. It seeks proof of its existence in the gaze of the other. The discourse of the other determines and founds the structure of desire. Desire always refers to a lack. The lost object can only be signified and not found.